All right. Hey, friends, welcome to another episode. We're here today to talk about a brand new law that just came into effect. It's the FinCEN Residential Real Estate Rule. And you may never have heard about it, but I have somebody here today who has. And so that's who I'm going to introduce right now. I'm Todd Tracy with the Tracy team. This is Emily Hu with Dream Home,
Hello.
and she is going to explain this new rule that just hit here recently and let us know what we need to be aware of. So, Emily, just quickly explain to us what this new rule is.
FinCEN rule, in simple term, it's a new federal reporting rule impacting residential real estate transactions. It's mainly aimed at cash purchases when the buyer is purchasing under LLC company
Ah,
or trust their personal name. So the goal of this rule is to improve transparency as well as preventing money laundering in real estate.
gotcha. So this would only apply if the company or you're purchasing a property with a company. So a regular, I'm going to air quote home buyer, that would just be someone who's going to use cash to buy a home, and it's going to be in their personal name. This doesn't apply, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, great. So this would be for maybe an investor. Like I know that you and I are both investors. So when we purchase investment properties and we're using a cash transaction and the company's name that we're buying it under, then we have to pay attention to these rules. Correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Great. So how does this really impact? I mean, yeah, we got a rule out there. It's new. People are learning about it. How does it really impact a transaction, or was there anything that we're worried about when we're working with investors or people who are going to buy under a trust or an LLC?
So overall, it may not impact every buyer.
Mhm.
So only for those buyers purchasing with cash under LLC and trust. If those buyers are purchasing through their own with their own name,
Yeah,
especially with mortgage, it may not apply.
gotcha.
So many recommendations for those investment companies if they buy with the cash. So overall, I would say prepare ahead of time and so keep transparency. So in this way, like the team can work together to make sure the right documentations will be provided.
Got it.
Yeah.
And a little birdie told me you may have some experience with this recently. How about sharing that story with us? What happened to you in this most recent transaction?
Yeah. So last Friday I got the cash closing. Overall, it was supposed to be closed on March 5th.
Mm,
Then, because of the new FinCEN rule was put in place on March 1st, so the financial agency, the title company, they need additional documentations for clarifications, especially about the shareholder information
got it.
and like whoever, for example, whoever signed the
Hmm.
documentations, they have to be like more than 25% of the share, and it has to have a clear documentations to legal
Ah,
documentations to identify each person's shareholders rule.
got it.
Yeah.
So unlike what I'm going to air quote a normal cash transaction
Mhm.
where the buyer just provides a proof of funds, it sounds to me like there's more documentation required in this particular instance. Can you give us some more examples of some of the documentation that the title company or lawyer might want?
So, documentations like transaction history of the LLC and
Mm,
overall the money in and out details. So overall, like plus the shareholder like identification, who is the signing party, who is the controlling the company, and also operating manager of the LLC. So it's not something hard, but however, it's not something we have been providing previously. So
right.
as long as the new law put in place, then the message communicated, we know what to provide in the future, then we can better guide our investors to make
Yes.
sure there's no delays.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And with it being new, you can expect, there's probably going to be some false starts and maybe some obstacles to overcome 100%.
Yep.
So listen, since since you just went through this, what would be some advice that you could offer other real estate professionals and investors so that we don't have these last minute, oh my gosh, moments at the closing table or the night before we go to the closing?
Yeah. So smart move for buyers who is purchasing with cash through LLC. So make communication, make sure let your real estate agent, title company, attorney, and CPA know upfront. So the sooner the person know, sooner everybody is aligned, the smoother the transaction will be. However, for those of you, if you are not purchasing under LLC, but instead you are purchasing through your personal name, then you are totally fine, especially with the mortgage, then there's no issue. Well, versus on real estate agents, I would say the advice will be communicate upfront with your buyer. Make sure cash transaction through LLC, those situations, if those are checked, then collect additional documentations and teamwork with your title company and everybody involved to make sure the right documentations will be provided upfront.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I heard you say, Emily, is communicate early
Yep.
and often.
Correct.
Yes, that transparency that's so important in a real estate transaction. Well, listen, I hope this had value. I hope that Emily was able to give you some new insight into this new rule, the FinCEN residential real estate rule. And if you like this, there's more. Don't worry about it. So give us a like, a share, a follow, and subscribe. And we will be happy to continue to provide you quality information, especially from our dear friend and colleague Emily Hu with EH Dream Home. It's Todd Tracy with the Tracy team. See you next time.